Hello, my name is Riku and welcome to BilotGo.ai. This episode will now deep dive into the BilotGo 2018 Hackathon. And with me is actually participant from the winner team, so Ashwin and Lasse, welcome.
Thank you.
And let me just first go into what the hackathon was all about, in general. So we arranged a competition to basically where we had this AI. We invited customers here. They could bring us kind of AI related topics or problems, and we then took a kind of little longer period. So we had up to 8 weeks to actually solve their solve their problems. Work with them, and and so it turns out that your team in the end won. And I was actually also participating myself, so but you had a good case.
No hard feelings, I hope.
No, I'm fine. It was a good. I learned a lot, so that was the main topic.
We all did, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so why you're here is that I would like to to talk about more the winning case that you did for Raisio Agro, and so basically talk me through. Where did you start? What was the problem? How did you proceed, and so forth? So,
Right. Okay. So Raisio Agro, let's say the company that basically sells feed for dairy farmers, and the farmers they give this feed to cows through milking robots, and it so happens that these milking robots collect all kinds of data from the cows while they are milking them, and the customer, so Raisio Agro, had, I guess, thought for quite some while that okay, we have all this data, but we have no idea how to utilize that.
Yeah,
and that's where kind of we come into picture.
Yeah,
exactly. And I think this was actually a case for many of us customers in that sense. You start collecting data and then what should I do with this?
Exactly.
How can I leverage it?
Everyone wants to get into AI, but they don't exactly know how. And I think Raisio Agro was a kind of similar case, and they needed someone to sort of guide them on how they can leverage their data, which frankly, they're the ones that deserve the credit for collecting that data and having the foresight to see that it would somehow become valuable at some point.
Yeah. Often the case is that customers are kind of decided, okay, we need to somehow leverage this AI and this kind of stuff. But then when we start kind of discussing the situation, it appears that okay, there is no data.
Yeah.
So you need to first collect that for a couple of years, and then we can talk again.
Yeah. Okay, so the data was in place. So the next thing, what did you do? What?
Yeah, well, we basically had two solutions in general. One which was enabling us to optimize the feeding plan for the cows. So they eat this concentrated feed, which has a pretty big impact on the milk production that they have. And it's very important to get that feeding amount just right, because if you overfeed or underfeed, the cow's health is in severe risk. And that's actually one of the biggest reasons for why milk production is less on some farms than on others, is because many of their cows are just sick from overfeeding or underfeeding.
Yeah, so the feeding plan is suboptimal.
Yeah. Another one of our solutions was related to saving time for the farmers, who basically have a lot of different responsibilities, but their main responsibility is with actually taking care of the animals on their farm. And since there are, in many cases, hundreds of cows on a farm, it's quite challenging to know which ones require the most attention. So our second solution was, in a way, enabling the farmer to identify which cows had the most unusual behavioral pattern and would probably require additional attention.
Yeah.
So actually, our case was quite different from the other ones, because here the customer was namely interested in increasing the satisfaction of their own customers, and not necessarily increasing their own revenue directly.
Yeah.
And in this case, the customer satisfaction boils quite concretely down to the satisfaction or health of the animals.
Animals, yeah. And I have to say, as a watching from the sidelines, or competing in the same game. So when I saw your case, actually, like in one sense, I have to admit, I fell a little bit in love with it from the sake that, yes, we are talking AI and we're talking technology and things like this. And usually when we do it, we start thinking about self-driving cars, and Skynet and the whole, thing. And what it's all about, it's the happiness of the cows we are talking about here, and we're helping. I think it makes a good story, and it really tells about, how actually AI is implemented in basically everything, or you can implement basically anything.
And I have to say, our customer was super committed to helping us on this project because they understand the importance of enabling the health of their animals. They're super committed. It was a pleasure to work with them.
Yeah. That sounds good. Still a question, we mentioned that maybe the cow factor, helped you a little bit with the cuteness part of the evaluation. You had a good solution, I'm not saying that, but still it might have. So, but why did you else think? Why did your team win? What do you think?
Well, one of the reasons was definitely customer commitment. Another reason is, perhaps we invested quite a bit of time initially in the project to educate our customer on machine learning and AI to really understand how it works, because we understood that the most important player in our team is actually the customer, since they have all the domain knowledge. I mean, trust me, I read a lot about cows and research papers and stuff like that, but even with that, it's only a fraction of the actual overall wealth of knowledge which they have. So once we educated them, they were able to give us useful ideas on how we can basically improve our models. They directed us to certain research papers that we were able to leverage different modeling techniques from them and apply them in our project. So I would say that was one of the key factors.
We were also able to kind of demonstrate basically a ready product.
Yeah.
That could be taken to deployment by the customer quite readily.
On some points, it can be unclear as to how you're actually going to use the solution. So we made sure that we close the loop in the sense that we're not just predicting something, but we're predicting something and the problem that we're going to solve. We ensure that we got that all the way down.
Yeah, I think you did an excellent job on that part, because it was, the presentation was really kind of, clear in that sense, and, this is the problem, this is how we kind of solve it, this is how you will actually use it, and this is how you will see the benefits, or
Well, I would say
cows will see the benefits,
It was also quite fair, because we had on our team, we had a web developers as well.
Yeah.
So to give them as well something to do. That was I
they
think,
built a really snazzy web interface, which we demoed during the competition.
Yeah.
And it was really nice.
So I think we utilized our team quite well, in a sense that everybody was involved.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I give you credit for that. I think our time's up. I want to thank you for this interview, and congrats once again.
Thank you.
And maybe see you in the next competition.
See you there.
Exactly. All right. Thank you also for the viewers, and meet you in the next episode. Thanks.
Thank you.